As you can well imagine, I showed up with a bunch of prepared remarks, and as I listened to Lance speak this morning, I decided that I was going to throw them out and just speak to you. As I was coming over on the cart, Lance reminded me that I met him a number of years ago when he was at Warren Stamping. And his first experience with me was not necessarily the most pleasant. I remember distinctly ripping his head off for the way in which the Warren Stamping was running at the time. He obviously has survived the event, and he's turned out to be a hell of an operator, and I want to thank him for his leadership in this plant and for having done all the things that he's done. One more thing I wanted to bring up. I was just chatting up with Jewel Norwood before we started this thing. My instinctive reaction in seeing the leadership of the UAW is to hug them. No, but it's true. I mean, I've done this. I did it with Ron Gettelfinger way back in 2009, and it was a tradition that continued to this day. And then I had the unfortunate experience of reading a couple of press articles that made reference to one of our people, one of the FCA guys, who objected to the fact that we, arguably the FCA leadership and the UAW leadership, were that close. And that that kind of display of respect and affection towards one towards the other was an indication of somehow getting our objectives all screwed up, and the fact that the UAW couldn't possibly represent the interests of the workforce if we were that close. And I've kept quiet about this now for a number of months. It happened last year when we had the negotiations with the UAW. It's surfacing again now as we enter the Unifor discussions in Canada. And so since I got you all here, and I happen to have some esteemed members of the press present, I figured I might as well kill this thing now with a baseball bat. I just want to take you back to where we were in 2009. Lance made reference to the fact that this thing shut down and that we ceased operations and we were looking into nothing. What happened here over the last 7 years is the result of the work of a whole pile of people who have joined to share an objective and to share the firm belief that we could bring back Chrysler into a viable car company. Since 2009, FCA has invested over $8 billion in the U.S. manufacturing facilities. It's added more than 25,000 jobs in the United States. This investment that we're launching today is the completion of a 3-press investment in this plant, which in total is in excess of $165 million. I was talking to Norwood about the single cost of a press, and it's over $65 million to do a full installation of a state-of-the-art piece of equipment, which is going to finally bring back Sterling to its original state, which goes back to 1985 as the largest stamping press in the world, stamping facility in the world, and which now matches Kokomo in Indiana as the biggest transmission plant in the world. We happen to have here an example of what a bunch of people, the leadership of FCA and the UAW leadership, did over a period of 7 years to bring this house back. I think what people forget is that none of this could have been at all possible unless the UAW and unless FCA had agreed on a common set of objectives, had embraced a new way of life, and had decided to face the future in a united fashion and not across the table. We have never, ever approached the relationship with the UAW, with our workforce, on an adversarial basis. We've always looked at this as a partnership, as a way in which we could build a great business going forward. So I want to thank Norwood for being here today. He and I have had some interesting exchanges over the last little while. He keeps on talking about Warren as being his plant, and I keep on reminding him that they're all his plants now. But the fact that we're here is a recognition of what you are. The fact that you made the commitments that you made going back to 2009, that you've achieved bronze level on WCN, that you have a clear path to achieve silver and gold by 2018. I had a very tough conversation with Brian yesterday, Brian Harlow, who has committed on his behalf, on behalf of everybody in this room, to make sure that we get at least silver in all our plants by 2018. I'm really here to celebrate and to thank you. To thank you for having committed, as we have, to this process, for having done a phenomenal job of helping this organization achieve the level that it's achieved today. As you well know, we have had some pretty tough conversations, and we have made, I think, ultimately some right decisions about focusing all of our U.S. operations in the manufacturing of Jeeps and Rams. I'm pleased to announce that this plant today will be making all the stamping parts for the Wrangler, which is now being allocated to Toledo North. That work is being brought in-house. We have, for a long period of time, had to rely on outside supply until we can get our act together. I think the addition of the third press here is hopefully the beginning of the revamping of our stamping machines here. I'm not going to make any crazy commitments to you about replacing everything that looks old in here. He told me there's some presses in here that are older than him, which I find hard to believe given the fact that Lance is 44, but it may be that we have some presses in here that actually predate his date of birth. But I think we have a commitment here to turn this into a truly competitive plant. I'm here, again, to thank you for what you've done, to wish you the best, and to reconfirm our commitment to the manufacturing philosophy which has started this process back in '09, and which hopefully will allow us to continue to be successful. Thank you very much. Congratulations on receiving the investment, and hopefully we'll see you soon with some more. Thank you very much.